I personally believe that it should be very good. It has always been one of the major standard or major, I would say, custom or tradition of IIT Kanpur to have a very strong student-faculty interaction. I believe it should be good even now, but uh, recently I actually encountered a group of students, and I must say that it was a real shock to me to hear that the students find in some courses with some faculty members there some very alarming experience, and they feel that they feel kind of threatened or inhibited or intimidated to approach the faculty for certain interaction or clarification. And compared to that, they even clarified that they used to feel quite at home with the teachers during their school days, and that's how they grew up. But after coming here, for whatever reasons, they feel that teachers are not forthcoming or not very friendly to them. If that is a reality, then I'm really alarmed, and that's a very shocking news to me, and we must reverse this trend. See, you must realize that today we are dealing with very large classes compared to 20 years ago. Even I'm teaching a class of about 100 students. Never before I've taught for more than 25 years earlier in another IIT. I've never had in my discipline more than 25, 30 students in a class. So to keep track of every single student, and in fact, I always used to make a roll call so that I could remember their first name. That's no longer possible. So interaction has to go beyond the classroom. And this is how you create bonds. And I have many, many fond memories of my earlier days when students beyond classroom, they kind of approached. That's how we even thought of and created a All India Student Congress, which still continues in IIT Kharagpur, which was started in 1992 or 3, when this kind of an activity was never heard of even. And it's a student congress with the undergraduate students. So I have always enjoyed interacting with the students beyond classroom, and because of my background, of my affection to physical activities, games, and sports, I think it should be true here, and it was true. When I was a student here at the postgraduate level, I remember almost the entire thesis I wrote sitting in the drawing room of my guide, because there was a reason. I finished my writing the entire master's thesis just in 3 days, working day and night, and we used to go and visit our teachers during these Durga Puja and Diwali and all those occasions, and those are the very fond memories, and this still continues. I hope it should continue here. In other institutions, wherever I have served, this is a very common tradition. Yes, classroom is a formal atmosphere, but interaction must go beyond that. As I mentioned, that the class size has grown enormously, which is one of the impediment against having a very closer interaction. But at the same time, the amenities are much better now. The facilities available are better, and certain things have changed over the years. For example, the emphasis on practical work or practical sessions, in my opinion, has reduced, which is a very detrimental thing. In engineering, we must learn work with practical experience, working with our own hands, running the equipments, machines, collecting data, analyzing, and so on. And in a group, students should work and then carry out an experiment and then discuss among themselves. Even I must say that project work beyond the normal setup also is a very healthy practice. So one need not always wait until the final semester or final year. One can start working on projects even at an earlier stage, and that's how you actually learn the subject better. You create interest in the subject much better. So beyond classroom, beyond academic activities, uh, in areas where one has a particular appetite, this is how one should pursue. And it could be anything. It could be writing, it could be creating, organizing an event, it could be games and sports, it could be uh, taking groups of students to industry visit, or any kind of activity which allows more of interaction, more closer interaction. The student to faculty ratio hasn't really changed much, even though because we have grown in terms of number of students, but we are also hiring more and more number of faculty members. In fact, I possibly would say that the student to faculty ratio today is not really anything to be worried about. We need more students not for teaching, more teachers not for teaching. We need more faculty members for interaction outside the academic curriculum, for project work, for research, for organizational event, for career counseling or career advices, and carry out various kinds of constructive activities. But yes, we are actually looking for a good number of new faculty members. But even beyond regular faculty members, we are very keen to hire adjunct faculty from industry, from R&D laboratories, even faculty from abroad. If someone wishes to come and spend a semester or even a few weeks, teach a module, or even without formal teaching, if one interacts with a group of students at the postgraduate level, we would definitely welcome that. So we are very actively trying to hire faculty from industry and other spheres as adjunct faculty. Very, very close and very warm. I mean, I remember Professor K.P. Gupta coming on a Sunday and working with me to change the roles, big roles. Two of us actually changed the roles because I had to carry out my experiments. I finished my master's in precisely 1 year, 3 to 4 months at the most. So there was a huge rush, and I had to do things very quickly. So, and that was the kind of interaction. He was already close to retirement, very senior person. I sat in Professor Arkere's house and wrote my thesis together and corrected and all those things. Those were the days when we didn't have word processing. So basically you write and then correct and then again go for typing and cyclostyling and ammonia printing and so on. In fact, why only teachers, even the laboratory assistants, laboratory staff, they also were like very close mentors. I mean, I learned a lot of things from them. And I must also mention that IIT Kanpur those days used to have one of the finest laboratories and facilities in materials research. Of course, we still have very good ones, but I must say at that time we were probably the best institution in terms of research facilities in material characterization. No, student faculty, see, basically we must realize one thing, that the faculty members exist because of the students, not the other way around. The teachers are here because the students they come here for learning. And learning is a continuous process. I always keep maintaining that it never suddenly starts, suddenly ends. You learn till the last day, till your last breath. And it's a continuous process, and same thing is true about one's career. It's a long walk. You have many miles and milestones. So you learn at every stage. And remember, learning is not necessarily by the students alone. The teachers, while teaching, also learn a lot. And so that's why these close interactions are absolutely essential. I personally would always urge the students a few things. First of all, I would quote the famous Sanskrit saying that Shraddhavan Lavate Jnanam. You have to have a healthy respect. Someone who is teaching you is purely because of certain circumstances, that someone was born earlier than you, studied the courses and acquired experiences before you. So there's no necessity that the teacher has to be always mentally or intellectually far superior than you. A student can be IQ-wise much superior than the teacher, but it is the discipline which is created through this mutual respect, which allows the pupil to learn from the teacher. And that has been the tradition of this country all along. And we must maintain that. On the other hand, the teachers always have treated the students, we call them pupils, as if they are kind of their own children. So that kind of a healthy respect, mutual respect with each other, about each other, that must be. But another very important thing is that what is important in life is that whatever you are doing, you must do to the perfection. And you may have many things in front of you, but you have to apply your judgment and be selective and prioritize. So if you're a student, you must consider learning as your first priority. Rest of the things should follow. Similarly, and learning not necessarily is only sitting in the classroom. Learning occurs whenever, whatever you are doing. The other part is the teacher, when he's teaching, he should teach to the best of his ability. And by teaching, I don't mean only teaching the textbook, because for that there are many modules available. But teaching has to be supplemented with new knowledge, which comes through research. So for that, this interaction is very important. And we all have certain duties to perform in the society, and we must not stray away from that. So that we must first fulfill our primary duty, and rest of the things should follow. I also would urge upon all my young friends in the campus that they must undertake a decent amount of physical activity and should not confine only within the room and be hooked to the computer or laptop or other. You must indulge sporting activities so that your physical agility comes to the required level, and you develop your skills in various other things. And this is when you grow up. Basically, your muscles, your tissues, and everything. And beyond certain age, they don't grow any longer to the extent. So at this time, I would say both healthy diet as well as healthy physical activities are equally important as your own studies and academics. I did already, and in fact, ever since I joined, I don't know if you're aware, I actually met and addressed research scholars, postgraduate students, undergraduate students, counseling service, volunteers. Of course, I met all the strata of the faculty members, staff members, and so on. And I would like to repeat that. I got very valuable input, and I tried to implement some of them. I couldn't make all of them. And I think no student would ever be able to say that I wanted to meet Professor Manna and he didn't give me time. So I'm always amenable and I'm always willing to meet them. But I cannot solve all the problems. So that's why we have created certain bodies, and we must remember that we have Senate, which is the academic supreme authority of the institute. We have certain sets of rules, we have certain sets of traditions and so on. So we can't deviate too far away from that. But I think there is enough room for improvement. And I personally think that the Kanpur Academic Senate should devote more time in understanding the academic needs of the students and how to address them, rather than spending time more on rules and regulations or these terminations and failures. And in fact, I find it very strange that we repeatedly allow someone to get terminated and then he appeals and reappeals and several other times, though often I'm told that our failure rate is fairly low. But in my opinion, there's no necessity that somebody has to fail. If we can have zero failure, I think the country will rather prefer to have that kind of a system without compromising the standards and quality of education. Okay. I mean, since you have flagged it off, I certainly would take a very serious note of it and would like to collect more information by direct interaction with the students, family members, maybe the wardens and so on. You possibly are aware that, to make the life more comfortable and homely, Institute administration has introduced a new layer called all guardians. Essentially, they are faculty spouses. We have just made a beginning, we've picked up only a few who will be spending very flexible hours in the hostels without any administrative responsibility, only to look after the students, the children. Our spouses, anyway, they know how to raise children. That's exactly what they've been doing, they've done. So nobody can be better than them to take care of these young minds, 17, 18, 19 years old, when they arrive here away from their home. And we have also introduced another layer. So that's about all guardians will take care of the hall amenities, safety, the food quality, hygiene, many other issues without having any administrative power. So it's more like a motherly care that they can offer to students. We also have introduced a new layer called academic faculty advisors. So the set of faculty members who have volunteered will remain attached to a batch who are joining this year for the next 3-4 years until they finish studying. I'm talking only about undergraduate now. We haven't done postgraduate because they are supposed to be much more mature. So the faculty advisors will actually advise the students in terms of what kind of courses to take. If someone is not doing well, what courses one should take, what courses one may drop. How can one plan the future so that without losing a year or a semester, one can clear all the backlogs and get going, or depending on one's appetite or ambition, faculty advisors can give them certain very valuable tips about what kind of extracurricular activities might help them, or simply if they have any problems in terms of communication, in terms of having difficulty in a particular subject, or many of them do not know the rules properly, the kind of flexibilities this IIT offer in terms of major, minor, dual degree and so on. So, and also you're aware that we have an office called Ombudsperson who actually can take care of any kind of conflict that may arise undergraduate student and a particular instructor, or all those issues. So we have introduced multiple layers of interaction and who can actually act as guardians or mentors. The whole idea is to improve the faculty-student interaction so that all of us can live in an ambience which will be more like a family ambience, and which we should retain in our memory and recollect fondly forever.